There's this whole conversation here about advertising, about consumer preference, about how advertising has to be clever in order not to be pushed back or blocked, if you will. There's a little bit of a tension. What is that tension? What does it mean for advertising?
Well, I think advertising has to get better. And I think you heard Tim Armstrong say that in Adweek, make things people want is not a bad axiom. And that's what we now need to do as marketers. We need to say, let's tell better stories, let's create better experiences, let's be more respectful of what the audience mindset and motivation is, and tailor our ad or our content to that idea, and earn the ability to talk to folks. Create things that they want to view and share. I think the greatest thing that Facebook did was give us will they care and will they share as an axiom for marketing in Facebook. I think that's an axiom for marketing moving forward. And I think we took it for granted. Now we're going to have to work really hard to get people back fundamentally to a place where they want marketing messages.
So I wanted to ask you about the kind of ad formats, native advertising. We heard a lot about, interactive pre-rolls that allow you to skip things, or what are some of the techniques, or what are sort of the best practices you see emerging in terms of engaging consumers? Is pre-roll, is banner, does that work? Does it have to be native?
Yes.
What's the mix?
So I think native is interesting, and there's a lot of people talking about that. I think I'm going to choose to answer your question with our experience with Vice. And so with Vice, we wanted to reach millennial audiences and have them consume financial advice content from Bank of America. Not selling anything, but we wanted to give them a little flavor of why it's important to set a budget, why it's important to plan for your retirement, why it's important to save for your kids' college. And we marketed that traditionally with banner ads and other things, and we had modest pickup. But then we went to Vice and we said, we want people to really want this content. And working with them in partnership, we came up with a concept called pre-contexting. And with pre-contexting, we take advantage of Vice's awesome editorial prowess and the fact that millennials gravitate toward their content. They set up an issue in their mind through a program that we underwrite called Business of Life, which was created as part of our solution with them, so that when folks watch that content, they're now thinking about, oh, maybe I should save for retirement. Oh, maybe this is an important issue. And at the end, we use post-roll. And in the post-roll, we give folks choices to watch another episode of The Business of Life, to do something else, or watch our content, which is Better Money Habits, which is more of a solution. So they catalyze the interest, and we harvest that interest. The interesting thing is, because Vice is so good at storytelling, 22% of consumers are finishing content that's over 20 minutes in length. That's an amazing statistic. So that means 1 in 5 are getting to the end where I'm delivering my message, and many of them are clicking on the message themselves, but they're now in the right mindset, so we've pre-contexted it. It's a harder job. It's a longer putt. It's a big investment. Business of Life views are great for me, but what I really need is for people to watch my Better Money Habits content. But doing it this way respects the audience. I think pre-roll is really headwind. I think mid-roll is interesting, but I wouldn't force someone to do something before they got to see the content they wanted, because ultimately that's a tax, and people don't want to be taxed.
And Lou, finally, we're very interested in TV. We're doing a big event around the future of TV, addressable TV in Florida next month. And what are your thoughts? I know you're an innovator in this area, what you did with American Express with their channel. What are the opportunities around linear programming, or programming that's delivered on the cable box, the satellite box, perhaps in an addressable format, to be valuable to marketers?
I mean, it's limitless. I think you'll run out of tape in your machine, but I mean, just a few of them. As we start to find out what different households are motivated by, even if it's the same product I'm offering to every household, I could tailor a message the way that I just talked about, where that we can tell stories that are more resonant to an individual household. They may have kids in the house, they may be empty nesters. That may ultimately open a different way in. Understanding life stage and those 7 key life priorities that are part of every consumer's journey in life, going from graduating school, getting my first job, buying my first house, having my first child, to retirement planning, philanthropy, whatever. Every one of those is a reset for consumers, and knowing what's going on in an individual household will allow me to tailor messaging. I can also do sequential storytelling in those households, where I'm basically taking the ad inventory on TV, and I'm showing over time chapters of a story. This is a much better way to make my ad feel more like content, but still work hard for me like an ad. Ultimately, it's finding the right audience and connecting with the right product. Addressability in all its forms, and programmatic is a form of addressability that will probably sit on side of that sit on top of that household addressability as the engine of targeting. This is wonderful now because I can start to see people in mobile, on desktop, and in the big screen on their home and tell a single story across all that. It's an incredibly exciting development.